Hey there, Minnesota Vikings fans. You are listening to the Purple People podcast. How are you guys this evening? I am Kyle West, accompanied by Kyle Smith. How are you today, sir?
What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody had a good weekend.
Hope so, too. It is just the two of us tonight. Adam Carlson is out. He is super busy this week, so you're going to have to put up with us two jokers BSing our way through a show. But we think we can do it.
Just the two of us. No, I won't
You
start that.
and I. You're the singer,
Every time
not
that
me.
happens, I think of. Yeah, I know. Every time that happens, I think of Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. That's fantastic.
Yeah, totally. No. But we are episode 202 of the Purple People podcast. That is so many episodes. So many, 202. A whole umlaut of love is the name this week. Thank you, Adam Carlson, our fearless leader. You were
As
always leaving
always.
us such fantastic titles. And such fantastic notes as well, too. So we got some quick hits that we're going to get to for this week. Not a whole lot of meat and potatoes, but it is getting closer to that time where we can really dive in to some actual Vikings football news. We're getting closer. We're getting there. We're going to start out with 3M. The Minnesota Vikings made them the official science partner. I have to familiarize myself a little bit with this one. You can check out the article over on the VikingAge.com's and Adam Carlson article. I guess they are the new official science partner, meaning that the company will have a presence inside the new U.S. Bank Stadium. Always cool to get the sponsors and to get the partnership rolling out for the Vikings.
I have no idea who they are, but the only thing that comes to mind is when they do, like they did it with Laquan when he was getting drafted. You know, they do the catch radius when they stand still, all the sports science stuff. It's really neat. But I'll have to do the same. Where Adam's always on top of that. That's how I found out about it. My fan-sided app told me about this new partnership with 3M. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad somebody else is back in the Vikings.
Adam's not here, so we'll have to pimp his stuff twice as hard this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Laquan Treadwell, he may be a rookie, but he is already off mentoring players at the OKC Players Football Camp. I'm assuming this must be some kind of kids-related youth thing, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be helping with youth and future athletes to find their potential. So I like that. I like seeing community-oriented players, which is not a surprise that Rick Spielman and the Vikings are going to find someone in the first round that is a high-character, community-oriented guy. So I like that from Laquan. Good to see him out helping the community, even though he's just got here in Minnesota.
I love it. He's doing everything right so far. He's got a very short career so far with the Vikings, but he's doing everything right. He's saying all the right things. He's putting in work, and now he's putting in the volunteer stuff, which is great. I think it's a fantastic thing to do, and keep putting yourself in the limelight in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. And Teddy's already speaking highly of Laquan. I don't know how much time with the way that OTAs are structured and whatnot is that they've actually had time to be on the field together, but he seems like that he's a big fan of him already, and I like the work that he's putting in. Not to knock on Cordero Patterson, but I don't remember. But anytime we get an opportunity to knock on Cordero Patterson, we're kind of going to do it here as of late. I don't remember hearing any stories about Cordero mentoring kids or whatnot within his first year at the team. Do you?
I don't. Funny you mentioned CPAT because I follow him on Snapchat. He definitely puts in the work in the gym, and he's definitely hyping up all the other players, keeping his thing. But he also has his time where he relaxes and takes a lot of pictures of his nice meals that he has. So he's very flashy, and I guess that's a two-part name for him. But you're right. I don't ever remember seeing that, but I'll save the love until he's off the team. I won't poop on him completely.
I actually don't follow any of the players on Snapchat. I didn't even really know that was a thing. Is that like a thing that people do?
I'll tell you right now, I do probably 30% of the people I have on Snapchat are celebrities because I'm not infatuated, but I'm very intrigued by their lives to see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
People, going around flying and going to sets of movies and all kinds of stuff. Musicians are out playing and having drinks with people. I'm like, that's cool. A lot of the athletes have it. I know we're getting off subject very early, like me and you always do,
We
but
tend to do.
like Lolo Jones, the Olympic track star, I follow her. She's very, very funny and very interesting. So if you want to do anything like that, just Google the players, or if you go on their social media accounts like Instagram or something, they usually put all their stuff on there. It's really fun to watch them.
Yeah, and I don't even have Snapchat on my phone, so I didn't even really know. I knew a while back that the Minnesota Vikings were like releasing, some arbitrary player information over Snapchat, and I thought, well, that's a really odd medium to do that with. I don't know. I'm getting old. I'm apparently not with it anymore. I don't get these kids, but
Yeah, the great part about it too, for all the fellas out there and some of the ladies, if you're into that, I actually got to watch the Viking cheerleader tryouts on Snapchat, so it's pretty sweet too.
Well, hey, there you
They
go.
kind of did it as fluff for the off season stuff, but we're giving Snapchat way too much love. They need to start paying us.
Yeah, no doubt. They'll be our official sponsor for episode 203. We'll be officially sponsored by Snapchat. That's the next quick hit that we got. Teddy Bridgewater likes Tom Brady, says Adrian Peterson. Kyle Smith, I know that you are a big Tom Brady fan. So what say you? Do you like?
You know what this is? This is me taking emotion out of it. This is Adrian Peterson coming in his 10th season, saying every right thing you could.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, they debated on NFL Network. They said, is this praise for Teddy or a knock on Tom? You can't knock Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback to ever play. There's nothing you can do. You can do all the side, Spygate, Deflategate, all that crap. You can talk about that if you want. But as a player, he produces, and he always has. I love it because Tom, minus the season with Randy Moss, isn't known to chuck the ball all over the field like Jay Cutler or Phillip Rivers like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is what my wrestling coach used to say about me and a couple other guys. He's a technician, and Teddy is that. He's not on Tom Brady's level whatsoever, but I see what the comparison is, and I dig it. And I would agree on a certain level, a couple of steps below, like, you have elite tiers of quarterbacks. I think that Teddy is below Tom on a couple of tiers, but I see the traits that AP's talking about, and I'm not mad at him. I'll take Tom Brady for 10 years.
I've been enjoying this off-season version of Adrian Peterson that we've been getting, where he's been saying all the really right positive things, and just we haven't heard a lick of trouble from him. Nothing, no drama, no trade rumors, no nothing. I like it. I like it. We could have used this version of AP a couple seasons ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. We got Adam. He's actually with us in the chat room tonight. We're here on the YouTube chat. So chime in for
yes.
Adam. He says that he's too old for Snapchat, and he doesn't get it, and that statistically the numbers are there for this early Brady/Bridgewater comparison. Sadly, that doesn't mean they'll turn out to have similar careers. Hot take, Adam. That's why you are the what do you call him? The glue of the show, Kyle Smith?
Yes, he is the backbone and the adhesive of the show. Without him, we would crumble.
We would just all fall apart. Let's see here. The next hit that we have is that 4 players have been named to Pro Football Focus's top 101 players list for Minnesota Vikings. Guess who forgot to look up which Vikings it was? This guy right here.
I can tell you 2 or 3 of them off the top of my head, and I know if Adam's listening in the chat and catching this, Adrian Peterson, top rusher last year, is obvious. Joe Berger was 50 on the list. Amazing. Good for him. And I believe Anthony Barr was on there as well. I think Linval Joseph was the other. He would have been higher. He was kind of low or later on in the list in, the 70s, 80s, 90s because he missed some time for injury, but he just produced last year when he did play. So those are my guesses for the 4. I'm almost positive that's correct.
Probably Jeff Locke on there at some point too.
Yeah. He's over there at the 437th player of the list. Yeah.
Oh shoot! Did you see the video on Vikings.com where the unofficial light show that went on at US Bank Stadium?
Yes. Holy crap!
That's amazing.
I could imagine having a pretty sweet apartment downtown Minneapolis, just seeing that going off. I would be all over that for my Snapchat story. There it is again.
Snapchat. No doubt. We've known for a long time now, obviously, that it's going to have the big clear glass front and the clear glass roof, and you'll be able to see through it. But until I watched this video where they turned it on and it lit up all the different colors, purple and gold and blue and green and whatever, I guess I didn't really fully grasp just how open the stadium is. It's really just every time I see more of US Bank Stadium, I just like it more and more and more. It's a really cool home field for the Vikings, where you're going to be indoors, but it's going to be like playing outdoors, and they can do all these cool things with it. I didn't even realize that they'd be able to change the colors of the stadium like that. That's just awesome.
This facility is so state of the art, and it's crazy because you said it. You hit the nail on the head. You're basically, and this is a great, horrible. I mean, we all three, me, you, and Adam, think it's an awesome movie. But Biodome, remember that? This is the first thing that popped in my head. You can see the outside world. You can see the outside world from this stadium, but you don't have to endure the cold like we did the last 2 years. And the roof's not going to collapse, knock on wood, like the other one that we had forever. Yeah, there's not going to be an inflatable roof, so that's pretty sweet. But I love it because it's going to house, if you look at all the plans, it's going to be home for us, obviously. There's going to be a Super Bowl there. But just seeing the layout from a couple of years ago when they started it for the Twins, and then you're going to have, I don't know if the Timberwolves are going to play there or not, but I would assume they might be able to play a game or two. You can host an NCAA tournament there, and then concerts like Metallica and Luke Bryan, two of the biggest names in the world. They're going to open up before we play any football in that field, just to show you how state of the art that place is. I hope they can get on the Falcons level of the stuff. Here's a side note. The Falcons are giving dirt cheap prices away, like street prices. If Minnesota can do that in there, you'll sell that place out every time you have a football game, as far as concessions go for the prices.
That has been the biggest thing that I've been talking about just amongst like fans and people I know out on the street, is that what exactly like the average person, like the non-season ticket holders, are going to have to pay to be able to get tickets to the game. And I always like to remind people, like, well, it is a new stadium, but it is twice as big as the Metrodome, so that means that there's twice as many seats. And so, yeah, you can even factor in, all the new season ticket holders that are going to be coming out. And yes, it's going to be more expensive because you're paying for a premium experience with all the new fancy tech that they've put into the stadium and whatnot. So you're going to pay more than what you were for the Metrodome, but it's going to be worth it. And I think the Wilfs are smart enough businessmen to know that they have to keep it affordable, because, you can pay whatever it is, $300 for Sunday ticket, and then you can get every NFL game at home, and you can sit at home with your iPad and play your fantasy football and never have to go out to see a game, never have to drive. And so I would think that they would be smart enough to want to keep the prices down so that fans can go out and you can tailgate and you can have the full experience at the stadium.
Oh, I can't wait. I know we talked about this before, and we're almost done with the quick hits because me and you are scatterbrained, but I'm going to the Carolina-Minnesota game because I'm from there, as most of you guys have heard plenty of times. But if we can find a way to do like a live Twitter thing, I can't run around with my phone in my hand going live all day because it'll die. But I will absolutely update from that game this year, because you're talking about the full experience. I cannot freaking wait. I can't. Then that's an away game. I can't wait to go to Minnesota one year. Probably in a year or two, whenever the hype dies down a little bit. But that's going to be a crazy fun time up there.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see here. Rookies, they have signed. All of the draft picks are now under contract. Laquan Treadwell has signed his rookie deal. I believe it was a 4-year deal for Laquan. I didn't really ever think this was going to be an issue. I knew it was going to get done. Just glad to have all the rookies under contract and they can get out and get to working, and just one less thing the team just kind of has to worry about.
Yep. I was glad to see everybody work anything out. I don't think you'll ever have a problem with rookies and holding out in deals and all that nonsense. So it's good to see it. No, it's a good day for them.
Ever since they redone the new CBA player contract, just that the old days of having players hold out for more money or whatever are kind of over with. Like, you pretty much get all your players signed really super quick. Let's see here. The last quick hit that we have, actually the name of the episode. Mobo gets to keep the Umlaut. That is the two little dots over the letter O that dictates another pronunciation of the letter than what we typically have. It's a German language thing. He gets to have that on his jersey, and I believe that makes him the only player in the NFL that's going to have that on his jersey. So that's pretty cool. Little special thing that he gets to have there.
That's pretty sweet. I had no idea, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad that he catered to, or the NFL catered to that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Ever since what was it RG3 came into the league, and he wanted to have the 3 for Griffin the Third put on the back of his jersey, and they let him do that. That's kind of loosened it up a little bit so that some of the players can get the special characters and whatnot that are on their jerseys, on their names put on the back of their jerseys. So it's kind of cool that Mobo gets to have like the actual spelling of his last name put on his jersey. I know a lot of people are debating how big of a seller his jersey is going to be. So I'm curious if you're going to be buying a Mobo jersey, Mr. Smith.
Absolutely not. I love you to death, kid. I hope you make the team, but jerseys are reserved, in my opinion, for obviously I'll buy a Hall of Famer's jersey or hoodie. I have a Fran Tarkenton hoodie. I have AP jerseys. I had a couple of Jared Allen jerseys. I'm sorry, man. You're gonna have to do leaps and bounds, but I'm supporting you 110%. Your story's awesome. Just got to see if he can mold into what the NFL needs for a receiver and find him a 4th or a 5th wide receiver spot on the team. Adam Thielen did it. You can do it.
Mm-hmm. But the point that I wanted to make really quick about Mobo is that there's a lot of people talking about his highlights that you see online, and I just want to remind everyone that he's currently playing right now against some of the undrafted camp body people, whatnot.
Yes.
I'm super excited for him too, but to think that he's going to step onto the field week 1 and he's going to do that again against starting caliber safeties and corners and linebackers in the NFL.
Don't get your hopes up, please.
It's important to keep expectations in check for him a little bit. Although, back to his jersey, if anyone has a Jerome Simpson jersey that you are no longer wearing, you can do the old duct tape over the back of it, and you can write Boulder, do the little umlaut over top of it, and you will be good to go.
What a reference.
You will be good to go.
What a reference. The best receiver we had that got the least amount of yards and the most penalties drawn on the other team. God, I miss that so much.
Here's the best thing that he would do after getting himself a pass interference.
Those were great. He helped Ponder out so much, and that says a lot.
Kind of makes you feel sorry for the guy when you think about it. Maybe if he had Teddy as a quarterback, he would have worked out better for him. Is Jerome even still playing?
Nope, sure isn't.
No, I thought didn't.
Had a drug suspension last time I heard him doing his thing, but
It happens. It happens.
Let's jump right in. I think we have the main topic here. I'm pretty stoked to talk about it, but I need your definition here. The main topic tonight is which young defender is going to be the next big star. Now, what do you classify as young defender? Are we talking Harrison Smith, or are we talking one of the guys in the last 2 or 3 years?
I'd say within the last 2 or 3 years, because in my opinion, someone like Harrison Smith is already a star for the Vikings. Now, whether or not you want to say on the national level, maybe ESPN don't give him the respect that he deserves, but I think within the Minnesota fan base, Harrison Smith is already a star on this defense. So let's go with rookies or guys that are 1 or 2 years underneath their belt.
This is too easy, course, so I'm going to jump outside the box. I'm going to make a really bold prediction here. So I hate doing twofers, but Adam's not here, so I'm going to give you a twofer.
Go for it.
We can go with the obvious answer with Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks. I forget which one. I think it was I can't remember. I'm not going to quote a name, but one of the two went to the Pro Bowl or as an alternate or something was going to be selected. So we're going to have a great linebacker core. I'm going to go ahead and go with the corners that we took. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Mackenzie Alexander and Trey Waynes are going to be good, nice young studs for us. I love I love the progression of Trey Waynes. I loved him at the end of last year. He made a big play in a playoff game. Granted, it was a crappy pass, but hey, you picked off Russell Wilson in a playoff game. Good for you. And he's a solid tackler for special teams. I love him. I love the fact that everybody pooped all over Mackenzie Alexander. It's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, that doesn't matter. You're not going to be Zimmer's not going to go after somebody who's gotten 30 interceptions because to me I love it, but that's not the team concept player that he wants. He wants a guy who's going to have 20-30% passes thrown his way because they know not to do that. That to me, that screams Richard Sherman, and I'm okay with that. If you can grow into that player, that's fine. But I like the young corners that we drafted. I see a ton of potential in them.
I definitely agree with you about Trey Waynes. I think this year is going to be a bit of a breakout season, come-out season for Trey Waynes, because I think you will see less of Terrence Newman on the field.
Yes.
Not that I don't think that Terrence Newman will be effective, but I am going to say that last year may have been a bit of a, I hate to use the word fluke, but a little bit of a fluke for the veteran. I think he'll still be able to, there's a reason why they brought him back. He'll still be able to contribute what he can bring into the team just for experience. I was listening to Captain Munnerlin talking about how he had struggled, and they brought Terrence Newman in, and Terrence Newman was able to kind of pull him aside and mentor him and help him, help him through his struggles and help him become a better player. And Captain Munnerlin was already a veteran when we brought him in, so that just goes to show you that having even more of a veteran like Terrence Newman is a positive thing. But I think that you'll definitely see a healthy dose of Trey Waynes, and that you'll get a lot
I couldn't agree more with that. I don't think it's going to take away. I think it'll only help Terrence play at his level and intensity better because he won't see as many minutes, and it's not because he's not a good corner. It's just how the progression goes when you get older. Also, I'll let you jump in and throw yours in, but I want to give an honorable mention. Another person that you probably don't expect, and last year might have been a fluke, but you know who else is a freak and I think could be really good? Danielle Hunter. 6
Adam
sacks
was
as a
just
rookie,
talking about
as a
Adam was just
rotational
yelling
guy.
about him in the chat.
See, I don't have it. My computer's dead. I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm glad that I wanted to give the recognition out there. But it's Danielle Hunter. He showed some stuff like, and you got to think 6 sacks as a rookie and a rotational guy. They were talking about him very subtly on NFL Network. Be on the lookout for this kid, and I think he's a freak. He's an athletic, raw freak, so I'm pretty stoked that we picked him up. He might be one of those, what was he, a 5th or a 6th rounder? He might be one of those late-round steals, so look out for him as well.
I'm going to stick with kind of the linebacking core, and I'm going to go with Kentrell Brothers, who is a guy that not a lot of people are really talking about right now, but I think that was just an amazing value pick for when we drafted him, and I see so much potential in him. He reminds me a lot of Chad Greenway, and the fact that this guy was leading tackler for a number of years within the conference that he played in. And I expect him to bring a lot of that Chad Greenway, be in the right position, make tackles, make plays. No, he's not going to be flashy, but he's going to become a really solid, strong part of this Minnesota Vikings defense. And yes. I don't think that Kentrell Brothers will ever be he just made ESPN top 10 plays of the week, but he's going to be a name that Minnesota Vikings fans are going to know about, and he's going to be an unsung hero of this defense, right up there with Anthony Barr and the rest of the linebacking core. And so I expect to see a lot of really good things from Kentrell Brothers. Probably not this year, because I think that he's kind of going to sit, and you'll see Chad Greenway in rotation of other guys. But within 2 or 3 seasons, you will finally get to see him kind of come out and make an impact for this team.
That's great, because that's a kind of player that you want to be on your team for 7 or 8 seasons and really just get out and just put out results. Like you said, Zim's going to have his guys. They move, if you like the movie 300, they move as a unit. There's not one in, like the Texans. I love the Texans defense, but when you think Texans defense, you think J.J. Watt all day long. And like the same way for the Panthers. When you say Panthers, I think Luke Kuechly all day long. They do have some really good studs on the Panthers team, but we don't have that one guy on the defense who's just like, oh man, he's a superstar. We have lots of top caliber. I won't say elite yet, but we have a lot of top caliber guys and just a lot of steals in the draft or, first round worthy draft picks. And when you get 5, 6, 7, 8 of those guys in there, that's what you get. So if you can throw a guy like Cantrell in there, they're just going to produce all day long. Whether it's flashy or not, who cares? As long as we keep holding teams to 18 and 17 points a game, we'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm. I tell you who I'm looking forward to seeing for the team. And a late round pick, I didn't know much about him, but he's cocky as hell in his interviews, and that's definitely a positive thing, I think, especially at the safety position. That's J-Ron Curse. You watch him, and this kid is just confident, and he's out there. I think he was like a 6th round pick or a 7th round pick for the team, and he's out there talking about starting alongside Harrison Smith. And the interviewer the interviewer kind of chuckled a little bit, like, "Oh, hey, a late round pick, you won't be starting." But no, this kid, he believes it. Like, he believes he's going to earn that position, and I love that confidence, and that's what you really super need as a defender. So that's a guy I'm looking forward to seeing out there in training camp.
That's a bittersweet conversation, because I don't want to crap on Sendejo, I don't want to crap on Griffin, but they're not elite safeties like Harrison Smith is, and that's their job. I'm sorry, Griffin. He's going to start. I don't think he's going to start. I'm right there with Adam. I think that's Sendejo's job to lose. I think he's a good complement on a tier below Harrison, actually 2 tiers below Harrison. But there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. I mean, come on, you're going to be, second fiddle to Harrison Smith over there. So if you think you can go out and beat Sendejo out, go do it, man. I see no problem with that.
Definitely do it. Let's see here. What do we have next? We have the social media question.
Social media question, which I think I have a decent one for next week, so we'll kind of wing it. But let's dive into what we have going on for this week, because it was a good one.
Awesome. Let me get it pulled up here. Let's see. The question, while I wait for that to load, was what position are you guys interested in watching unfold the most in training camp this year? So you go into Mankato. What position do you guys looking forward to seeing? We got Tommy Gunn. He's looking for the wide receiver with 3 unique points from Tommy Gunn. I always look forward to your answers here. I'm going to paraphrase because you got some long ones here. You guys can read the full ones over on Facebook.com/Purple People Podcast. He's looking for who's going to be replacing Cordero Patterson. Can Charles Johnson actually do something for the team? Youth and talent at the wide receiver position, which we definitely have a lot of both. I think wide receiver is definitely an area that there's going to be a lot of competition, and it will be interesting to see how it shakes out this year for the team. Let's see. We have O-line is the most important. Wide receiver might be fun to think about, but center and everything to the right could be a revolving door depending on who is healthy and who has improved from last season. I think John Sullivan is going to be out as center for the Vikings this year. That is my bold predictions. Yeah,
there's a bold statement for the day.
I don't think he will see Sully back. I think he will get beat out by either Joe Berger or one of the other younger guys on the roster.
That's interesting.
Let's see here. Alex says, I hope that there is a strong battle for the right side of the offensive line. It was the weakness last year, and with all the new additions and returns, I hope it turns into a strength. I think they've done a good job with the addition of Alex Boone and some of the draft picks. And
Andre Smith, I cannot wait to see him and what he does. Alex Boone you get what you pay for there, and he's fantastic. But I am really excited to see if Andre Smith can come in. And I hate to go with your route because I want to still have faith because I love the guy so much. But Sully and Loadholt, I love them to death. I love what they've done for us over the years. But their clock might be ticking down. And if you're going to have a big guy come in, why not be Andre Smith to come over on Teddy's right side? Because you're right. I forget who you said wrote that comment, and we can shout him out again. But Matt Khalil didn't do terrible at left tackle last year. It was the right side that was pretty bad. So I'm really excited about that. That's probably my favorite. The
And you got to
Umlaut
remember,
battle.
for the Jets, DeBerkashaw Ferguson just retired after 10 years in the league, and that's getting around to be how long that Phil Lodeholt has been playing. I think he's in his 10th season for the Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
Vikings. So and he's had some injury history as well too. So it's one of those things where I'm glad that they're getting depth on the line and they're getting prepared for something like that to happen, because you don't know how much longer you got with some of these veterans like John Sullivan and whatnot out there on the team. Let's see
Right.
here. We got Matt says that cornerback is our deepest defensive position. In my opinion, Rhodes, Waynes, Alexander, Munnerlin, Newman, Sherrills, and Jabari Price. Definitely got some depth on the cornerback. That will be a fun one to watch as well, too.
Can never have too many.
Mm-hmm. Lots of wide receivers, lots of offensive linemen talk, and that seems like what people are looking forward to the most. And I think I would agree with all those comments. Like that is where the most competition is really going to be open for.
Here's a random question before I propose the social media for next week. Do you think this season right now, because we got rid of Mike Wallace, do you project Laquan Treadwell and Stephon Diggs as the number one and the number 2 wide receiver for us?
I'm not ready to count out Charles Johnson. I know that Charles Johnson was hurt last year. He had a rib injury that they, for whatever reason, they never put him on IR. And so he played through, and then that just made him look like he had a horrible season, even though he said it was so bad that when he would try to run, that he would take like 2 steps and it would feel like he was being stabbed in the side because of it. I think that Laquan is definitely going to be Teddy's go-to target, and Diggsy, I think, is going to be used maybe more as a slot guy, just based on his size, than what a kind of a down-the-field target. I would really like to see on the outside a healthy Charles Johnson and Laquan Treadwell with Diggs on the inside and kind of the slot Percy Harvin gadget kind of role for him.
Yeah, I was waiting on it.
Yeah, where I think that you can get that combination of like those 3 together with Jarius Wright thrown in, as well as your big tight ends and whatnot. I think that could be a potent combination. I do think Laquan is going to lead the team in receiving yards. I expect him to have 1,000 yards receiving for the team. I think it'll be the first receiver. Yeah,
Two
the
hot
first
takes
receiver
tonight, man.
You betcha, the first receiver since Sidney Rice in 2009 to have 1,000 yards receiving for the Minnesota Vikings.
Fun fact, I
you
don't
go.
have the reference because I suck at life and I'm not Adam. But they did do Teddy Bridgewater's projected stats for this year, and they're not terrible. I believe it was 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3,700 yards. So you got to think he's going to be tossing the ball a little more, which I fully expect. I think the training wheels will be taken off this year. He'll be indoors as well, so Norv will have a field day with that. But that could very well happen, man. It just depends on his grasp of the playbook. But Laquan was already in the best conference in college, and I mean, he was a damn good receiver coming off a freaking injury. So I don't know. As long as he grasps it and the training wheels come off, which is 2 big ifs, there's no reason why he shouldn't do that.
It starts up front with the offensive line for me. It's like really you give Teddy the time to make reads and not have to rush his throws, and you will see much better stats and production out of him as well too. And also having a receiver, hopefully like what we all expect him to turn into, will help out immensely as well too. We've been doing it patchwork at the receiving core for a while now, and having that go-to guy will be able to put someone like a Charles Johnson into the number 2 role, where I think 2 or 3 spot where he can succeed better, and that just helps out the full team. It was really, really a smart draft pick for the Vikings to do what they did.
We can march down the field better, and it's going to be hard as hell to cover when you got big old Kyle Rudolph on one side, and then you got big old Laquan Treadwell in there. Somebody's getting a touchdown. So I'll say it 8 times out of 10, somebody's going to get a touchdown. So I'm okay with that. Here's a proposed social media question. If Adam's still there, you can go for it. What are you guys looking forward to the most if you are in the area or if you go to see a game? And this will make you do homework as well. I want you guys to look it up. For all the guys that got to go to the Metrodome or to the University of Minnesota, what feature are you looking forward to the most in the new stadium? Because this stadium is badass, man. I'm telling you. Just seeing the pictures and everything and doing the aerial views now, and it's almost done, and they're going to be, in the next 2 or 3 months, they're going to be doing a lot of work on the inside to get it looking good. What features it? For me personally, I can't wait to go over there and see yours, mine, and Adam's legacy brick. I think that's one of the coolest things that you could do, is to have people be a part of that huge piece. That stadium, in my opinion, is going to be there for 50 years. So I can't wait to go up there and take a picture with that, take a picture beside our brick. But just, I know they're going to have Wi-Fi everywhere. The halls are way bigger, so it's not as crowded. I mean, they said the Metrodome can fit inside this thing. The size alone.
Yeah,
and
twice.
The screen
Twice.
screen that you can see twice?
Yeah, you can fit 2 of the Metrodomes inside of the new stadium.
That's insane. I had no idea. The screen as well that they put up, you can see it from any seat in the place because it's going to be humongous. So I just want to know, what are you guys looking forward to the most? Because there's a lot of options to choose there. I know they said they're going to have a lot more bathrooms too. I don't know if somebody like Tommy Gunn would like to chime in on that. I figured that he might. But, you know, it's just going to be a state-of-the-art facility, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
I'd tell you my answer right now, what I'm looking forward to seeing the most is that championship banner hanging up from last season. From after we beat the Packers, we got that championship
Shout out to
banner.
ESPN for messing that up this week, too. ESPN needs to pay Adam to write because he can get his facts right. They said the Green Bay won the North and the Vikings are having a tough time taking it back. And then the Vikings cleverly reposted on ESPN. They retweeted out their photo of like, I guess we should take this down, our NFC North championship banner in the practice facility. It was the funniest thing in the world. ESPN, get your crap together. Come on.
I had no idea they actually did that.
Oh, yeah, I posted it on my Facebook. I think Adam posted it on Twitter as well. It's like, what are you doing? Why you need to proofread these articles before you hit publish.
That is so unacceptable. I can't believe that no one caught that. Nobody at ESPN.
It was one of the biggest things to talk about last year. We haven't won the North in 6 years almost, or 6 or 7 years. So probably something you should remember because it was pretty recent. But hey,
pretty basic info that you can find online and do like a quick Google research, and you can kind of find out who won the division. Come on, ESPN, it's not that hard. Quick side rant. I've had more issues with incorrect information coming from either ESPN or, believe it or not, the Vikings official website, where I've done do a Facebook post and I've wanted to, hey, here's some quick stats. And I copy and paste over and post it. And then someone in our comments section will go, those stats are not right. And then I will research it myself and find out, they're 100% not correct. And it's like, it's hard to believe that people who work for the Vikings can get player positions wrong or stats wrong or championships wrong. I just don't understand how that happens.
I guess Mike Wobschall can't do it all. I don't know.
I guess not. Oh, shoot, but I think that is going to wrap up our episode. You got a bold statement for us this week?
No, man, you covered that twice today. I loved it. You took the fire away from me, so that's good.
Oh, shoot. Well, I think we should definitely thank everyone for listening to our show this week.
Thank you for putting up with us, too, because I know it's hard when Adam's not here to make it sound adult-like and structured. Thank you for letting us side rant. Speaking of Adam, I always love to plug when he's not here. Adam does a lot of writing for thevikingage.com. If you have a mobile device, which I'm sure everyone does these days, go to your app store on whatever platform, download Fansided, Fansided, look up the Viking Age. There's all kinds of articles from him and some other great fellows in there. Also, if you're a Walking Dead fan, check out Undead Walking. He does a lot of writing for there as well because it's a very popular show, and he's a fantastic writer. Mr. West over here, he can plug his own stuff. I won't steal his thunder, but Mr. West has a photography page you should check out. What is that called?
It's called westphotography.com. You can get t-shirts. You can get stuff like what I got hanging up behind me back there. This is Vikings on it. You can get just all kinds of awesome stuff. You should definitely check out.
You should buy from a local Local person like Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, training
Support
camp
those
is
small
coming up.
businesses.
Yeah, training camp is coming up. You need some Viking stuff to go get autographed. I can be your hookup. I can hook you up with all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome.
And I think really quick, I believe, if I read correctly, that they are looking for writers over on the Viking Age. So if you were listening, if you were listening and you were a really big Vikings fan and you go, I can write this stuff. I want to share my opinion. Do it. Sign up for it.
I'll tell you guys right now, I bit off more than I could chew. I wanted to be one. I don't have as much time, and I'm not ever as good at going to be as good as Adam. But Fansided gives you a tutorial. They lay it out very, very easy to understand and comprehend. So if you think you have the time to devote to it, you're going to start out as an apprentice. But if you get on Adam's level, you could get to be paid just to write about the Vikings. So that's just something to think about.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh, God. Watching the draft from a bar 2 years later.
You betcha.
Man, I'm really sad we passed that guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Teddy who? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We should end it on that note and remind everyone to stay classy, Minnesota.